What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABCs. Earlier in the year, around January, I made a video that was talking about how 2024 may be the year for you to get started in Airbnb or grow your Airbnb business. And those were made on a lot of assumptions that folks were hoping to come true. And those things included maybe lower rates, maybe because of lower rates of inflation, maybe revenue growth, or potentially price reductions in the properties that you are looking for. And as we sit here on April 2nd of 2024, it looks like a lot of those things really aren't coming to fruition in any way, shape, or form. When you look at the way that things are going as far as all of those things that we were looking for, we're not really seeing lower inflation. Yes, we are seeing lower inflation compared to 2022 and 2023, but we're still not hitting that 2% target rate that the Fed is looking for in order to start lowering those rates. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the December, January, February, and I'm going to bet March CPI reports, they are continuing to march back up in the opposite direction that we are looking for inflation to go, and therefore the lowering of the federal funds rate, which in turn has a effect on the mortgage interest rate. Those don't look like they're going to be happening. And the Fed's been kind of just sitting there saying, well, we're not sure when we're going to be able to do those rates. They're still saying 3, but I'm thinking that those may not happen at all, especially if inflation keeps going the way that it is. Revenue growth for properties, I really haven't seen a lot of folks out there saying that the revenues for their properties are going up in a tremendous way. A lot of folks are saying they're flat or they're even down, and that's what we are seeing in our portfolio, is that revenues are either flat or they are down in a ways. And these things kind of come and go, and then you'll have good months and bad months, but for the most part, things are flat. And then a lot of folks were hoping with these interest rates where they are, the price reductions were going to be a big thing for especially vacation rental properties and really all across the real estate market. And what we found is that folks that have these places, they have no real reason to sell unless they are made to sell for some reason, like a death in the family, a divorce, or some other major disaster. Folks are sitting on extremely low interest rates, and it really doesn't matter what price they bought these things at. Their payments are so low that they can run the revenue way down and still break even, and in most cases make a profit without trying too hard. And so if this is your first time here, be sure to hit that like button down below, hit the subscribe button, and we're going to keep on going with this kind of one take, unedited style for a while. You guys let me know down in the comments if you like it. People say that it feels more authentic. So if this is hitting you right in the feels, hit that like button for me. And so you guys have to think about what can you do? What do you want to do? And there's really 2 points of view that I kind of come up with here. It's the people who are just starting out. So if you guys are coming here, you're looking for advice on how to get into the Airbnb game, try to make some of that cash flow. And then there are people who are looking to expand. And this is where I am. This is where a lot of folks are that follow this channel. You guys say that you have Airbnbs. And we're going to start off with people who are just starting out, because they saw a lot of these properties back in 2021, 19 that people were getting into. And even though the bidding wars were insane, the rates were really low, their payments were low, and the revenue was super high. And you know, that 2021, 22 era, those were really high things. That's just not what we are going to be able to do right now. It's rough out there trying to buy short-term rentals or even long-term rentals or personal homes. And I had to put a kind of cut there because my brain just zoned out on me. Prices, rates, and revenue are driving all these things. Prices are staying high, the interest rates are staying stubbornly high, and the revenue is staying either flat or down, as we just discussed. The 50% cash-on-cash returns or more that we would see in 2019, 2020, 2021, they just simply aren't happening. We're starting to look more of like a 10 to 20% cash-on-cash return in the short-term rental world, which means everything else is going to be lower than that. So if you're just starting to get in, you're like, what am I to do to be ready? And the biggest thing I can tell you guys is 2 things right now, is stack your cash. Either put it in something safe, put it in a CD that you can maybe get to, but just save it in an account. What I do is when I'm stacking cash, I put it into broad-based index funds like total U.S. market funds, S&P 500 funds that do have some risk to the downside, but they have more opportunity to the upside, so that money can still grow. You can still get your 7 to 10% returns in the S&P, but you can be ready immediately in order to pull that out. And then to do that, you do want to have that in a taxable account, not some sort of tax deferred account so that you can get access to all that money if you want to strike immediately. The second thing to do is to exercise your number crunching muscles. Be sure that you guys are looking at lots of properties out there. So get familiar with the markets that you're in, where the price points are for each individual like bedroom type, property type, how much the insurance rates are going to run you, what the revenue is, what your property taxes are going to be, so that when you're looking at things and they're coming on the market, you can almost immediately know if it's a buy or not, because you know the numbers in your head for a 2-bedroom cabin. I know those in my head in the Smoky Mountains. I can say this is a go or it's not, and then you can start looking deeper in it. And the best thing is that there are opportunities out there everywhere, and that you can potentially find a property that while you are looking through all these that you want to make an offer on and you can potentially get, but you're going to need to do this a lot so that you're very well versed in it. So stack your cash, exercise your property evaluation tools. And then when you find that opportunity, you are going to have the resources to strike. And when you're looking at these things right now, why interest rates for investment loans are 7.5% to 8%, if you're finding something that works and you can make that work and it works for you, and that's the whole thing about you. You have to figure out what that has to be, because you can stick money in the S&P 500 and get 7 to 10%, okay? So if it doesn't even make that on cash, I would have to, really think twice about that. But there is a good chance that sometime in the future, interest rates are going to come down. I honestly don't think it's going to be in 2024 in a big way, but maybe 2025, 2026. So you've got this property now at, $500,000 or $600,000. It's at a 7.65% rate. You can make some money. You can start gaining that equity. Maybe you do a cost segregation study, and you're able to use that depreciation to offset some of your W-2 income. Tax benefits are huge in this space, and you can use that for now. And then as time goes by, you can refinance that down to a 6.5, a 5.5. And now that place that was $500,000 or $600,000 now, because interest rates have come down, is now worth $700,000 to $800,000. And so that's just a way that you can get started right now, even while rates are high, even while prices are high, and even while revenue is flat, so that you are in a good position to at least strike at opportunities or to potentially profit massively in the coming years. If you're already in the game, it's kind of different, because you may not be as hungry as somebody that is trying to get into their first place, because I do know that anticipation of getting that first place, starting to get these problems and systems under your belt, start making some of that sweet cash flow and get those tax benefits. But if you're in the game right now and you have a rate that's under 5 or 6%, you are golden. It almost doesn't matter what you picked that place up for, because you probably picked it up in the 19, 20, 21, 22 era when interest rates were cheap, and you're going to be probably making cash flow no matter what. So there's no reason to make moves for no reason at all, just to be making moves. If you have something locked in, it's a good thing. And this is almost me preaching to myself, because we're dealing with one of our cabins that we've kind of been like, what do we do with it? Do we renovate it? Do we sell it, 1031 it, or do we just leave it alone and let it make money? Because we feel like it can do better, or we feel like maybe our money can do better, but we may be reaching too far. You see, we have 3 cabins. One has a rate of 6%, one has a 4.375, and one has a 3.125. These are places that, at least the lower 2, we will never refinance, and we will probably never see those rates as far as investment loans again in the next 10 to 15 years. And so what we're doing, without being able to make a significantly larger amount of money on the money that we've already had invested, is we're focusing on just cleaning up our listings, making them as best as we can, and trying to add amenities that bring in folks and make us stand out from the crowds. Because in a lot of these vacation rental markets, you're going to have a lot of properties that are the premier properties that you're looking to buy, but they're kind of all similar. In the Smokies, it's all cabins, and they can start to kind of all run together over a period of time. In the beach markets, these beach houses can all sort of run together. So even though your place might be great, you're just kind of lost in the crowd. So we're adding amenities and features that most folks may not have. And what we're doing in our places, we're adding like arcade games. And it doesn't have to be super duper fancy like the motorcycle riding arcade games or anything like that. We've used the 1-Up arcade games, the classic arcade games. People love that stuff. People love Pac-Man. People love Space Invaders. They can play it. It's simple to play. You don't have to have this huge, learning curve on how to play it. We're adding things like that. We're making sure that we have pool tables, we have air hockey tables, and in markets, in the Smokies, this is very common, but you may be in a market where this is not very common, and this could be your thing to push you over the top. We include cable TV in all of our rentals, and that has been a big departure from other folks that have gone to streaming only. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on that, and I think that appeals to a certain demographic, maybe an older demographic, but in general, those folks tend to have more money and will pay higher rates. And if you can say that you have cable TV and that brings someone in, dude, one reservation can take care of that cable bill for the entire year. Outdoor fireplaces are big in the Smoky Mountains, and everyone likes an outdoor fireplace. So if you can do that, we can, you can definitely bring some folks in. We have a cabin that does very well. If you don't have a hot tub, think about adding one of those. People love those. A lot of the beach markets don't have it. That can also increase your season on both sides of the shoulder season outside of that, spring vacation to fall, or I guess not fall break, but the end of summer. You can maybe push your season out by a month on either side and add that extra revenue. Pools, remodeling, adding rooms. If you have the budget and the room to do it, make sure that you have new pictures that highlight your place. Make sure your listings are very easy to read and the pictures are very good, because people are short, attention spans. Pictures have to be awesome. Get your listings in bullet point form so that people can easily read them, pick them out, and just take your place over someone that has crappy pictures that you got to read through a bunch of stuff and rules and what have you. Sell your place first, then put all the rest of that stuff below that. Any amenity that you can add that'll help you stand out is going to really help your business. We've even looked with our cabin at 1031ing it into another property, and with what we got it at, with the rate that it's at right now, and the prices of things, even if we roll over a couple $100,000 of equity into a new place tax-free using a 1031 exchange, I still don't think that there is any upside for us on those cabins. And so, if you guys have been in the game for a while, you've got these places, just really think before you make any big moves. Really lay out your options, write them down on a piece of paper, and have a visual of what is going on, because I really don't think, for those of you getting in or that have been in, that we are going to see a significant decline in interest rates. I don't think that we will see any decline in purchase price of the prices of these, at least in any significant way. 2 to 5% isn't really that big of a deal when you're talking about prices that have gone up by 40 to 50% over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. That little bit of pullback isn't going to help much. And, for right now, revenues I think are going to stay flat until, consumers sort of have some sort of easing on their end. And we'll see if that can happen in the next, 2 to 3 years. And in which case, everything is going to go nuts. So be prepared to strike. If interest rates come down, if the economy for the average consumer gets better, you are going to see these prices go to the moon with these properties. Again, if you're already in, that's going to be great for you. You're going to have a heck of an equity stake. If you are getting ready to get started, be sure that you have cash. Be sure that you're evaluating properties. You know how to do it quickly, because there is only going to be a few months to strike when things, kind of do the old switcheroo. So guys, I appreciate you sticking here and watching with me today. If you found anything useful in this, hit that like button, leave the comments about how you disagree or agree with me down below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for everything about short-term rentals, Airbnbs, VRBOs, how this stuff works, and all the trials and tribulations. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one.